Hello and welcome to Stampscapes Live, the replay. On this scene, I'm going to be using the Art Foamies versions of Stampscape stamps. Some of them are available, some of them aren't, okay? I received a big pack of test samples, and their first release with some of the stamps are out there, and I think if they go well for them, they'll be releasing some more. And my vote is going to be for this large trunk here. There's a smaller version of it, okay? But this larger trunk is allowing me to go on this very large format piece of 8.5 by 11 by 16.5 inches long. All right, now one of the things about the Art Foamies that's really nice is that we can play around with scale, okay? We can go with some larger versions of stamps that would be really impractical in a rubber format just because of the price of plates, the number of images you can fit on a plate, and impression kind of ease, okay? Now the Art Foamies, being that they are in a foam format and allows for, the contouring of the surface to contour to, I don't know, whatever surface you're using them on. And especially with the impression pressure considerations, these foamies are really perfect for that. Okay, so I stamped the two versions of the tree trunks there, and I'm going with the pine tree now, okay, for some backgrounds here. And one of the things that I did with the tree trunks is I stamped them in a hybrid black ink. You can do it with a any type of ink. I don't know if I would recommend a solvent style of ink for these foamies, but someone in the live stream said they use solvents with their foam stamps all the time, just as long as you clean them quickly. They haven't, faced any kind of problems with that in terms of maybe the hardening of the surface of their foam stamps, at least. So I don't know. I haven't played around with these very much at all. These are very new to me, so I'm doing a lot of trial and error right now, or I should say trial, because I haven't found anything that's, I don't know, kind of a weakness of these foam stamps. I was kind of curious about their abilities of the retention of detail, and I don't know, for the size of these stamps and for the manner in which they are created, I'm just really amazed at how much detail there can be in these foam stamps. All right, now with this foam stamps too, with this pine tree, I went for, I don't know, it must have been using dye-based inks to color it in. I got about, I don't know what it was, 6 impressions out of it, because I think the foam is absorbing some of that ink, so you can go for a lot of impressions. So I was probably inking up too many times, because I probably could have gone for secondary, third, fourth impressions out of the same ones. Okay, going with the winter brush here. This is, winter brush is in rubber format right here, so a smaller version. Well, the regular version, I should say, just not an Art Foamies version, all right? And what I'm doing is I'm creating kind of some contours of the snow by using that paper towel to define kind of the arc of that snow that's going to be at the base of these trees here, okay? So we're defining form just by the use of what we do not stamp out, okay? One of the things little tips I gave to people on things that are in snow is to wipe off the bottom of, if it's a creature, maybe their legs, okay? Anything kind of that you want in something else, kind of wipe off the bottom of it. Okay, so I really planned on using a lot of colored pencils on this, but there's a lot of space on a large format piece like this. So these trees here, I wanted to have them represent giant sequoia trees. So I wanted to give a base layer of some dye-based inks first, just to give me a foundation by which to build my colored pencil marks over the top of it. It would just give me a head start, okay? Because just going only with colored pencils, I mean, we can do that, but I just thought this would be faster. So I'm doing a lot of experimenting around with these, I don't know, formats in mind, with these stamp incarnations in mind. And I don't know, so far everything's worked, but what we want to do is we want to develop kind of a methodology that's going to be nice and efficient, removing a lot of the kind of the extra work maybe that we don't need to do. So as I did this piece, it occurred to me that I should do some other types of things in terms of my layering processes, okay? So this is a semi-gloss cardstock that I'm working on, so it's not going to take colored pencil layering as well as a matte or just something with some tooth to it. A lot of people that use colored pencils a lot, they're using a textured paper. This is a very smooth paper, but it is coated, you know, which is very conducive for the best detailed impressions that you can make from a stamp. But it's not so coated that it's not going to take colored pencils, but again, it's not, you know, so matte that it's going to take a lot of layering of colored pencils. You know, you're going to get that kind of buildup and super saturation. All right, so working through kind of a range of tones, going from kind of the tan colors and oranges into this reddish tinge here. And here I'm working on my black now, trying to develop my shadows. And this is where it occurred to me that maybe I should have laid down the black first so that I can get, you know, kind of a thicker saturation of it and a darker saturation for my shadows before I built up my other colors underneath it, okay? With the dye-based inks, I can build up as much as I want, but with the colored pencils, you know, you're getting that big wax buildup, so I need to keep that in mind for the future. So, you know, I'm trying to figure it out as I go along here. I haven't used colored pencils very much over the years, but I don't know. I think they're working really fantastic for these tree trunks. And I'm building up my tones from kind of light to dark because I wanted to get that really rich glow of the trees down. Okay, now, being that this is snow, I'm not always doing snow, or I'm hardly ever doing it, I should say. So I'm trying to develop some shadows to develop the forms of the snow, okay? Now, snow is a very light and reflective surface, of course, so I don't want to go too dark. So I'm used to adding in, you know, much darker shadows, but these ones are all about subtlety and kind of lightness and reflected light. So I'm working through some light to mid-tone blue colors and with a little bit of violet, okay? Now I'm going with a darker blue here, but I'm using it in a very light fashion, okay? I'm not pressing too hard with it, all right? Again, because I want that snow to be nice and light and airy. Okay, going in with my white pigment ink on a cotton ball and adding in some mist and really softening up some areas. We're lightening up some areas. And we're able to kind of expand on the textural range of our scene here, which I think is important because this is a really large format piece, so you want some variation happening within there. Now look at this, I'm putting that trunk behind that foreground trunk a little bit farther back in space by making it lighter at the base of it. Now, and it creates a little bit of a visual distance. Going in here with the Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White and adding some snow textures on the background trees, and here I am putting some of it on the trunks like that. And I got a little smudgy in some areas, so you can go in with some, you know, white paint and kind of, oh, I don't know, add a little bit of texture over it and just eradicate some of those smudges everywhere. Some of this white paint gets a little bit too light, okay, but I still want that texture in there. But what you'll see me do here shortly is go into the Dr. Martin's with a little bit of a colored pencil, and you can color that, you know, the paint that you just applied, and kind of just smooth that out a little bit more. Going in with a little bit more white pigment ink here to put on some final touches with the texturing and kind of that illusion of mist. And there you have it, a very large format Sequoias in the snow scene. and it was really fun. I really enjoyed using the large format pieces and creating a much bigger piece than what I'm normally doing. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.